Hi there, welcome back to the channel. This short episode was going to be my support of Rick Beato's fight for content creator fair use on YouTube. And it kind of still is, but it's also support for all YouTube content creators. And recently something really bad happened to Steve Burke, the editor-in-chief of Gamers Nexus. So I also support his fight too. It's also a bit of a rant, and I apologize for that. I say this was going to be my support because I held off for several weeks and decided to publish this episode as a standalone because I don't know these people, but I have followed their fights for content creator fair use on YouTube. The issue is bigger than just a few people because it affects all of the music creators on YouTube, and it could affect other creators too. More on that later, and I kind of already alluded to Gamers Nexus. In this episode, I'm going to talk about why my opinion matters, what might be a financially positive solution for YouTube and publishers, where I slightly differ from Rick Beato, but I don't necessarily disagree with him, and more. Why my opinion matters is simple. I'm a musician, YouTube content creator, so this affects me. Additionally, I'm an attorney and one that used to work here in Silicon Valley at a small intellectual property law firm performing patent prosecution, trademarks, and copyright services. So I know a little bit about intellectual property. I believe 100% in copyright protection and in IP protection in general. Obviously, there are ways to use copyrighted works without first obtaining permission, and one of those is fair use. It's a lot more complicated than most people think. Let me tell you how I wish YouTube worked for me as a content creator and how it could be financially beneficial for publishing companies like Warner Chappell, Sony, and UMPG. YouTube considers me a partner/content creator. This means I am monetized and make money based on ads placed in the video episodes I make. There are essentially 5 potential outcomes when I publish a video episode. Number 1, I get all the revenue from the video because I've only used my music or public domain music or haven't used any copyrighted material. Number 2, I'm notified that someone claims the copyright for music I have used, but they agree to share the revenue. To some degree, I actually don't mind this. What I don't like about it is if it's a 10-minute video and I've only used 5 seconds of a song, that seems a little severe for them to pick up half of the revenue. Number 3, I'm notified that someone claims the copyright for the music I have used and they take all the revenue. That's just not cool at all. Now I have 2 choices. I can take the video down and I don't get anything out of it and they don't get any revenue. At least if I leave it up, it might help some of my subscribers or other people that come to the channel, and maybe somebody subscribes because they like the content. So I would probably leave it up. Number 4, I'm notified that someone claims the copyright for the music I have used and they block me publishing the video. So the video gets taken down. That's not cool at all because I don't know who a lot of the blockers are, and it can be finicky. It can change from day to day, at least it sure seems that way. Number 5, I'm notified that someone claims the copyright for the music I have used and they issue a copyright strike. That's the worst thing possible. Other than the first 2 options here, the process sucks. I can see where YouTube creates a program for publishing companies similar to me as a YouTube partner. Publishing company partners could opt in to revenue sharing with their client's permission. This information would be in a database searchable by content creators. This way, I would know what music I can use without fear of a copyright strike, a block, or a total loss of revenue. I would be incentivized to use the music of artists that revenue share. That might also motivate artists to opt in and share revenue. The guesswork needs to be taken out of the current YouTube video processor. It just doesn't work. Rick Beato is a lot braver than I am. He forges on ahead at great risk to his channel. I'm terrified to use any music that is not mine for the risk of a copyright strike, and once you get 3 of them, they would delete my channel. I only have 2,200 subscribers. He has over 5 million subscribers. That's a lot to lose. I believe YouTube could support their channel content creators in a more substantial way. Content creators like Rick Beato, and me to a lesser degree, are the source of some of YouTube's revenue stream. If there were no high-level content creators on YouTube, YouTube might cease to exist as a profitable enterprise. Obviously, music-related channels are only a small portion of what YouTube is about, but it could still be a better process. If you're familiar with automotive channels like Hoovie's Garage and Doug DeMuro's channel, channels I watch, and I actually did a spoof on Doug DeMuro. I don't know him, but I did a Juno 106 review and spoofed his channel. Those guys are showing cars with automotive logos. Why aren't those car companies suing those content creators? Those logos are copyrighted. Now, I'm not asking that they get sued. I don't want that at all. But simply, they're not getting sued because it's free advertising. Music channels need to feature hit songs from today and yesterday. No one is going to show up for canned music. They want to hear somebody like Rick Beato talk about famous songs and tell you why they are great. I'd like to do that for keyboard songs and other songs on my channel, but I'm scared. It's clear to me that YouTube doesn't want to alienate the big music publishers. That could mean a very expensive lawsuit. And I understand YouTube's position on this. Litigation sucks up your life, and I speak from personal experience, having done it right out of law school. And my guess is the likes of Gamers Nexus are feeling that right now, and Rick Beato has felt it. On the other hand, YouTube places all the risk on the YouTube content creators while pocketing piles of cash from those creators' work. There are still several small independent labels/publishing companies out there that, despite all the mergers, could be approached, and it would be a great opportunity for YouTube to start forging agreements for revenue sharing and having a searchable database. I believe it could be a win-win. Another point I want to make is about what Rick Beato said in a recent episode. I'm paraphrasing, but he said that a lack of exposure of the older songs and artists to young audiences is going to cause these songs and artists to become forgotten. On this point, I totally agree. It is hubris to believe that just because you were big in the 70s, 80s, or even yesterday, that everyone is going to know who you are today or tomorrow. Here's an absolutely true story. In brief, I was telling one of my employees about being a paperboy in England, the most underpaid, underappreciated job in the world, and that I walked by Peter Gabriel's home practically on a daily basis. I was quite pleased with myself until he captured my gaze and asked, "Who's Peter Gabriel?" How can you not know who Peter Gabriel is? He was a founding member of Genesis, probably my favorite band of all time. Also, Sledgehammer, the train going up around his head, MTV video. I think that won an MTV award. That song came out in 1986. He was born in 1984. Of course he doesn't know who Peter Gabriel is. How could I have been so naive? The reality is the highest likelihood of a young audience being made aware of the great music of 3 or more decades ago is through social media, because that's where they spend their time. A 15-year-old kid trying to get better at playing guitar is more likely to hear an older song on Rick Beato's channel and what makes this song great than stumbling across it in their YouTube feed, which is more likely to be current artists or whoever is paying to be at the top of that young person's feed. Also, you know, people have probably heard older songs for the first time on a channel like Rick Beato's and then purchased that song on iTunes. Where's his cut for the referral to iTunes? Did he even ask for a cut? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he just wants to feature the music on his channel, and so do I. The primary focus of music copyright is to protect your music works so that you can benefit financially from the fruits of your labor. Don't these publishing companies have a fiduciary duty to their artist clients to make some money off of their portfolios? I believe that forging partnerships with small publishing companies could soften the stance of the big three when they see there is money to be made here. I think about starting my own publishing company and telling artists that don't make huge royalties for radio play anymore because that whole industry is really just owned by a few main players and there's playlists. Come to me and I'll get you shared revenue from YouTube. Maybe it wouldn't be a lot of money, but something is better than nothing. Should I start a GoFundMe page? I don't know. I want to be compliant. I don't want to break the rules. Now let me tell you where I differ from Rick Beato, but I don't necessarily disagree with him. I believe his viewpoint is that he wants to use any and all songs on a fair use basis on his channel. I'm not speaking for him, but I think that's what he's saying. I've watched a lot of his videos and they all seem to fall under fair use to me. Yet he has had to fight strikes on his channel. That's expensive. I don't believe artists and publishers will ever allow fair use on YouTube. Not to the extent that he's looking to use it. They are going to fight it with their dying breaths. If there's no money to be made for their clients and for them, the next stop is going to be a courtroom, and nobody should want that. The problem is neither YouTube nor the industry players are making much of an effort to make this work or give it a shot, and it sure seems like there's an opportunity here. Perhaps there isn't enough money to make it worth their while. I simply don't know, but it would be great to see YouTube try this out in the open. It's Google, for crying out loud. They got tons of money. They could throw $5 million at this, hire 3 to 5 people, give it a shot for 3 to 5 years, and see if it works. If artists want to be copyright strikers, blockers, or take all of the video's revenue, I can accept that. It's their right. But give me a freaking list searchable of these artists. This way I can make an informed decision and not play Russian roulette with my tiny channel. And, of course, I will feature songs of artists that are happy to share revenue. They won't make a lot of money off of me, but they will off the likes of people like Rick Beato, and there are millions of other videos and channels. Exercise channels, Let's Get Physical by Olivia Newton-John. Okay, I'm dating myself. Car drag races by Sammy Hagar. I Can't Drive 55. You name the channel and there are songs perfect for every video. I believe that there is more opportunity here than the industry realizes. YouTube canned free music is great, but music from mainstream artists is better, a lot better. I'm not trying to create enemies in this business. I'm trying to do the exact opposite. I'm trying to impress upon folks with power in this industry to take action while there's still time. And this is why. It's not always about the money. I believe that 100 years from now, folks will still know who Bach and Beethoven are because their music has been in the public domain for over 100 years and it's benefited from modern distribution methods. People haven't been given the opportunity to forget their music, and we've all benefited from that. Yesteryear's blockers and strikers on YouTube are relying on a dwindling number of fans that know who they are today. But that's not going to endure tomorrow. One day, the last of those fans will be gone. Perhaps the publishers and moreover the artists don't care. Maybe they've just already made their money and they're happy. That's a shame, because all music should be preserved, enjoyed, and appreciated. Thanks for your time.